Advertising Productions, and this is Diva Talk. I'm Mia.
I'm Karen.
And I'm Reverie.
Today, we're going to have Sav. Sav is a 28-year-old single mom, full-time student, business, and lifestyle coach. After leaving an abusive marriage of 5 years, she found herself basically homeless, renting her mother's spare bedroom without a clue of what to do. After suffering from a stress-induced seizure in the fall of 2019, she decided something had to change, so she went into business for herself. Shortly after remembering who she was and with the knowledge she possessed from 10 years in the business, prior to marriage and motherhood, she decided to start her own coaching business to give back to her community in the same way she had been helped. As a result, Sav has made over $156,000 in just 5 months after starting her business and helped numerous women to thrive in their area of success. This is one powerful woman that we're going to be speaking to today. Please welcome Wesley Savage. Well, welcome to Diva Talk, Wesley Savage. You also go by Sav. We're so excited to have you here. We're going to dive right in with these questions. That was a very impressive bio that I just read off, by the way.
Thank you.
We're going to dig into some of the stuff that's in that bio. We're going to go deep today. But to start off, I want you to tell us, what is your program, Elite Empire, and how did you come up with it?
So I'm going to kind of flip the question around a little bit. I actually came up with it when I was praying. I believe in God, so I was actually praying, trying to figure out what my next steps were, what I should take, what direction I should take my business in, because I had just finished another program called Bitch Fix Your Crown, and I started to notice that there was kind of like I don't want to say disconnect, but there was just something missing in the coaching world. I've been in and out of it for 10 years. And what I've noticed as a coach myself was around week 3, every single client that I would have, they'd be making really good money. They'd be feeling themselves, like just being in the moment. And then all of a sudden week 3 would happen, and it's like they would hit an emotional plateau. They'd start to feel overwhelmed or exhausted, or they couldn't keep it up. And it was almost like who they were prior to those 3 weeks just kind of comes creeping back in, like I kind of refer to it as the broken little girl inside of you, the part of you that's gone through a lot of, whether it's abuse, neglect, fear, trauma, etc. She starts to break out, because I believe personally her rent isn't the first thing on her mind anymore. Paying her bills isn't the biggest worry. And so now she has all this so-called free time, and it's just like, oh my gosh, how have I actually been feeling? So Elite Empire really gives these coaches, women in business, leaders in their field, an opportunity to address some of those emotional concerns that they really haven't had the time to acknowledge, without all of the, like to call them like the Band-Aid solutions, or the coping mechanisms and everything. That's great, but it's only going to get you so far. Personally, I've gone through my program myself, and I will definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, say that this is the only thing I have found in 10 years that works and sticks through the long haul, because I don't want to build a coaching business on codependency. My goal has been and will always be to give these women tools that they can use as soon as I'm gone, and continue to use it for the rest of their life.
Wow. Sign me up, because Karen, I was just thinking the same thing. Sign me up too. Wow.
Oh my God. Well, let's chat after, okay? Now.
Yeah, because I'm a coach too, and that 3-week moment happened for me as well.
I don't know what it is. Like, I know I went through it when I was with my last coach, who kind of helped me get back on track. And every single female entrepreneur that I've worked with, same thing happens. Like week 3, you've got money, right? You're booked out, and then you're just like depressed, and you shouldn't feel that way, right? Like, that's the lie in your head that goes on. It's like, why do I feel this way? I shouldn't feel this way. And it really goes back to the traumatized little girl who went through things that she didn't deserve to go through. We don't acknowledge her. Half the time we tell her, like, hey, you need to shut up and be quiet, because I'm an adult now and you shouldn't be bothering me. But that's really not how that works. You really have to take a moment and embrace her and let her feel all of the things she went through. Let her be sad. Let her be angry. Let her be, frustrated. But because honestly, I think our society tells us to be quiet a lot, especially as women. we ignore her.
Yes.
And that's what I do. That's what Elite Empire is for. To truly build an elite empire of women who have fully embraced the child part, the teenage part, and the adult woman part, to fully be her forever, not just pretend to be her.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was drawn to you because of how much you speak on your Facebook platform and what you had to say. You just are very powerful. And I just thought, this is a woman we have to have her on Diva Talk. And when Mia presented you, I was like, absolutely, yeah. And then just learning about Elite Empire, it's just it's a fascinating idea. I love what you do, but I also am impressed with how much money you've made.
Yeah.
Doing it. In your introduction, we heard of the amount of money in such a short period of time. Do you think that platform and kind of making that kind of money has changed you in the way you think of yourself?
So I will be honest, I have always loved sales ever since I was like 10. I've always wanted to be in business. Like, I tried to walk dogs when I was like 10. I was like, Mom, I'm gonna start a dog walking business, or lemonade stand, or mowing lawns, anything that I could do. I've always loved money. I'm just gonna put that out there. But it wasn't really until I was 18 that I went to my first business conference that I learned, like, okay, hey, there's other people that do this. There's a whole field. I want to learn all that I can. I bought the tapes and the books and all those things. And I helped a lot of other companies grow their business, whether it was like management or just books, whatever I could get my hands into. I wanted to learn it all. But part of the thing when it comes to like my business, the large amount of money that I've made in just those 5 months, I've also done the spiritual side of it, which is like manifestation. I don't know if you guys know a lot about that, but when it comes to like the practical side of business, it's really only going to get you so far. I do a lot of, money mindsets, like shifting, where you focus on what you already have and how you can grow what you already have. So if a client comes to me and they have let's say they have 5 clients, I'm like, okay, awesome. Let's work on these 5 clients that you already have in front of you, and also utilize like your Facebook or your Instagram feed that you already have in front of you, and grow that base. Instead of trying to go out and create new ads and spend a lot of money and kind of focus on things that you don't really know a lot about, like, what do you have in front of you already? Let's get this nurtured. Kind of like the best description I could use is like a plant. Like, let's water the plant you already have, right? So that you can get tomatoes from this plant, rather than trying to start a whole new garden somewhere else that you don't have any idea what you're doing. And most people think that that's the move. They think that because, okay, I've been in business, I have this platform, now I need to start paying other people to bring clients to me, when they're neglecting the people that are in front of them. I think it's really weird that most people think like, well, I can't sell to my friends and family because, whatever reason, how they're going to think of me, when your friends and family actually already know, and trust you. And that's how people pay you. You pay someone when you like them, you know them, and you trust them. Like, that's how we all go to Amazon. Like, we know Amazon, we like Amazon, we trust Amazon, they're going to give us our thing, so we're going to pay them. So why would you go out and try to cultivate a brand new relationship with someone who does not know you and expect them to pay you more? I've come to find that the majority of my clients have been friends or family, but another large portion of it has been through manifesting money. I've gotten returns, or I've gotten grants, or people just literally wanting to pay me out of nowhere because they believed in my vision. And I had no, what's the word I'm looking for? No way to coerce that. It was just like, hey, here's 10 grand. Hey, here's $13,000. And I'm like, okay, say less. Like, I'll take that. So I definitely give my clients not just the physical and like practical steps to take, but also like change your money mindset. Quick mention, there's a book called Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Said that really fast. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I recommend that to every single one of my clients before they get started, because I do ask a series of questions before working with anyone. And I need to see where your mind is at. I need to know if you believe in the impossible. I need to know if you are willing and ready to do this, like the things that I'm going to ask of you, because otherwise there's just not going to be no point. You're going to get frustrated and angry with me, and we don't need to do that. Like, let's not waste each other's time like that.
Right. You've said a lot, and you've kind of already answered the question I was going to ask, which was okay. But see, what I'm getting from you is that you really help women stay focused. But how do you help women become successful, like make that money, that goal that they have? How do you really help them do that?
That's kind of a loaded question, because the thing is, I don't. Honestly, I'm going to be real. I don't. The thing is, every single woman has the capacity to be successful in whatever that looks like for her. I don't know how that's going to look for everybody. They just don't believe in themselves. Society really has badgered and beaten down women and told them that they cannot do anything without the help of a man or someone else involved to do it. They couldn't possibly have any of the answers. And my only goal, my only real job is to encourage you and remind you, like, yes, you can. That's it. Like, I cannot sit there and tell you anything at the end of the day unless you believe it. So I'm just that person kind of in the background to be like, you had this idea. That idea came to you for a specific reason. There are people out there who need your idea, so go do it. If it flops, it flops. But half the time you learn something anyways, and the success comes from them just doing it. Like, it's hard to explain because like I feel like it's just like, oh, I just show up and people get successful. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. But really it's them showing up and putting in the work that they already know to do. They're just afraid, or they just don't think it's going to work out because of, you know, the past relationship with the bad boyfriend or whatever. So it's just me telling them, hey, you've got this. I don't come up with their ideas. They already know what it is they want to do and how they want to go about it. They literally just don't believe in themselves, because I was the same way. I didn't believe in myself.
Well, speaking of having to change your thoughts from your past and overcoming that, you've created a very successful, lucrative life for yourself now. But what was your life like before you started this platform? Because that's going to help these women understand that you come from where they're coming from.
Yes. So I kind of want to start not too far back, but I was in a very abusive marriage for about 5 years. Emotionally, financially, mentally, physically abusive marriage. And the only reason I left was because my ex-husband, or my husband at the time, had hit me in the face. Like, he physically assaulted me. And, you know, I kind of spiraled. And I ended up basically homeless, living in my mom's spare bedroom, renting it out, having literally no idea what I was going to do next. And this is not exaggerated. Like, that's one thing I really want to point out too. It's like, this was me thinking I had made it. I had been married for 5 years. I had a daughter. Like, my life was perfect on the outside, right? That's what I showed on Facebook. To being like, no, this is the reality of things. The reality is I am in an abusive marriage. I have to get out. I have to do, like, my daughter and I deserve better. I ended up getting a couple of jobs here and there. One was like pharmacy, and the other one was, you know, Walmart management, like trying to just do something to bring in income. It still wasn't enough. We ended up having to live on food stamps, welfare, the whole nine. And I was trying to juggle too many plates. I ended up having a stress-induced seizure. After trying to walk back home from class, I had been up for about 12 hours, or not 12, I'm sorry, about 26 hours. And I hadn't slept, hadn't had a chance to really eat anything. So I was rushing around trying to go from work to drop my daughter off at daycare, pick her back up, go take an exam, that I had a stress-induced seizure. I couldn't even finish my exam, had to call the ambulance to take me home. Couldn't even go to the hospital because I was so broke and terrified I would not be able to afford help. So I really got to a low place. And it really wasn't until I saw one of my Facebook friends that I've been friends with for like 10 years that she was succeeding in a business. And I was like, you know what? I need to go into business for myself. Like, something has to give. I know how to do business. I might not know how to do all of it, but this is the chance that I have to take, because I'm going to die otherwise. So I went into business for myself. I started cleaning houses. That was one thing I knew I was really good at. Like, if nothing else, I can clean a house really well. And it was okay. Like, I was making my bills, like I was paying my bills, but it still wasn't enough for me. And so I invested my last penny into my friend who was having her own program, like coaching program, to help kind of get your business off the ground. And that is what really like ignited that spark in me. And I remembered, okay, this is who I am. This is who I've always been. I've always been this woman. I've just never fully embraced her. And that's when I hit the plateau and recognized the need for it, not just in myself, but in all the other women I had coached.
Wow, you have such an amazing story to tell. I'm so proud of you. You've come really far. Now, this is a very personal question for me, because I know a lot of people who are bipolar, but when we spoke earlier, you talked about being diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and I'm not really sure what that disorder is, and I'm very curious to know, and I'd like to know what it is, and also personally what it's like for you.
So I want to preface this that I am not a doctor, so please no one take any of this advice as law. But I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, back when I was about 20 years old. This is like when I was saying I didn't want to go too far back into my story, but when I was 19, 20 years old, I was in a rehab facility for drug addiction and suicide. I had tried to commit suicide because I was just at a very low place in my life and honestly had no idea that depression could be so heavy. So when I got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, they basically described me, and I didn't know that there was a word for it. You have really high emotions, right? As far as I have been told and what I have learned is that your emotions are super high. If you're happy, you're like ecstatic. If you're sad, you're usually depressed. If you're angry, it's usually like wrathful, like uncontrollable rage. And I will admit that that is who I have been in the past. Like I could not put my finger on it or really express it in so many words. I just felt really passionate about whatever emotion I would have. And the way that it's affected me, honestly, is it affected every relationship I've ever had, whether it was with friends or family, work. I literally had a boss like come at me and tell me like I was too excited one time when I did really good on a call. And I was like, okay, well, I'm sorry. Like, that's just how I am. And as far as I know, the difference with BPD and bipolar disorder usually happens like in episodes, like they have manic depressive episodes, whereas borderline personality disorder, it could be in the same day and there's no real trigger. It could just be like anything at all can set it off. So it's literally just a personality disorder. Like that's borderline personality disorder. So I hope that answers the question. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I would talk to somebody licensed. Please don't diagnose yourself, friends.
Well, thank you for that disclaimer. But I thought it was a good explanation. And I really feel like I can relate to you in a lot of ways, Wes, because, being diagnosed at age 20, I was diagnosed at age 26 with attention deficit disorder and had a whole story about, myself as an adult, because
yes,
nobody even knew what that was when I was a kid. So what I'm really drawn to in the conversation that you had on Facebook and what you're saying now is how you have addressed your mental health and the issues around that, and how you've seen or how you've addressed it with your clients too, when you see that come up for them.
Yeah, so I think, and I'm probably not going to get a lot of likes for this, but I think it's really important for us to be aware of our mental health state. It is not anyone's responsibility for your mental health. If you're recognizing a pattern in your behavior or with your relationships, and you're the defining factor in all of those relationships, you need to address it. You need to seek out help. You need to talk to somebody. You need to go out there and figure out, okay, is it something that I'm dealing with? Or am I just picking bad people? And if I am picking bad people, why am I picking bad people? Because a lot of the times and I know this is, like I said, kind of a loaded statement I'm going to say, but a lot of the times we want to play the victim. We want to play the woe is me story, the, oh my gosh, I just need help. I'm a damsel in distress. And I mean, obviously we're taught that kind of condition that throughout our lives and like princess stories and stuff. Like, no, okay, we can rescue ourselves. We have the capability to look at, okay, what is going on in my life? What is going on in my head? Where are my thoughts at? And how can I fix this? How can I make this better? And I do not allow my clients to not take personal responsibility. I'm like, okay, we're going to look at this situation. Can you take personal responsibility for this thing that happened? If not, well, what could you have done to make it better? Because at the end of the day, folks, the only people we can control is ourselves. And when you don't do that and you want to blame everybody else, that is why you don't succeed in business. That is why you don't succeed in your own life, is because you try to blame your success on the people who aren't paying you rather than the things you're not doing. And that's really,
I wish you were on the ballot this year, Leslie.
What?
I wish you were on our ballot.
Oh,
this year.
stop! No. No, thank you. Same. Because
I know. Your last name is Savage, and you are savage.
Definitely.
I am, because I've been there. I've been that woman who was like, well, they're just not buying my products. Nobody likes me. It's really, and I'm like, and I had a coach telling me, like, what are you doing though? What are you doing though? And I'm like, oh, okay. Say less. What am I doing?
It's really, really important. Really important. So if you could sum up your message into one statement, what would that statement be?
Okay. That's a good question. No, I really want to say, you know, give me like a hot second. I really want to say something specific, but I don't want to mess it up. Personally, I would say that you deserve freedom. You deserve the money. You deserve the man. You deserve every single thing that your heart desires. The only thing stopping you from getting it is you.
Ooh,
Point
That's
blank.
powerful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
now, real quick, the title of your episode is Don't Let Your Past Determine Your Future.
Oh, I love that.
Tell us a little bit about how you've overcome your past so that it does not determine your future. How have you accomplished that?
Well, I would definitely say that I do not surround myself with people who have a victim mentality. That is the number one thing. I can't do it personally. I have a lot of good friends and family who call me out on my stuff. Anytime I want to get into this, you know, pity party mode, they'll let me have my moment and feel sorry for myself. But after a while, they're like, listen, we need to chat. I also have those tough conversations with myself. Like when I'm feeling low, I'll give myself the space to feel low, but I also don't allow myself to stay there. I also actually choose better for myself. I think it's important that a lot of people say, you know, they want something. And I had, there was a book, the same book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Eckhart talks about how like a lot of people want things. And I love the way he said this, you know, wanting is the same thing as if it falls into my lap, but choosing or deciding means that you are going to go after it no matter what happens. And that's the difference between, I think, a lot of entrepreneurs and people who say they want financial freedom or people who say they want to be successful. It's like, okay, what am I going to do every day to choose better for myself? That's really been it, is I know what I want out of my life, and come hell or high water, I'm going to get it.
Amen. I love that. Thank you.
I don't know about anybody else, but I am fired up right now.
I am very fired up.
That's the goal.
Totally.
Yeah,
Totally.
when we get out of here, I'm going to work. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Do it.
Thank you for
Really,
kicking me in the
very
butt.
inspiring, very motivating. And check out her Elite Empire in the description below, and you can get fired up for your business and your life as well. Be sure to tune in to our next episode. And as always, ladies, are we ready?
Yeah.
Beautify
And
and
rise up.
I really think that people get like weirded out by the word manifestation, but I think it's really funny that they do, because like every single thing that we physically see was once a thought in someone's head. So when you think about it that way, it's like, okay, you're not really doing anything special. It's not like a huge spiritual thing. You know, it's just a reality. Like if you guys are using your laptop, that was someone's idea in their head, and then they manifested it into real life. So you can absolutely manifest money.
With NASA, but
Yeah, right?
and people bitch about the space program, but
No, exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't get me started on that one.
yeah.
dreams become a reality. I was just telling someone the other day, this is so weird, but Tommy Lee from Motley Crue dreamt about playing drums and spinning upside down. And he got up one day, probably hungover as fuck, and said, you guys, I had this dream that I was drumming and spinning upside down. And they were like, you are going to do that.
See?
And then
No, exactly.
next thing you know, they're on tour. I think it was Theater of Pain, and he's spinning upside down while playing drums. I mean, how fucking awesome is that?
Exactly. No, I have a story with that, because I remember when I was 18 and I went into this business conference, I had a dream of me like standing in front of this big ass mansion with floor to ceiling windows, and I just remember like this feeling of like, I have done it. Like we as women, we have done it. And I remember that dream like happened, and I was like, oh, that's not a big deal. I think I told like my mom. I'm not kidding. When I moved in this apartment, this is 10 years after this dream, I had a coworker that I've had lunch with maybe 2 or 3 times, and it was a man. Okay, so I was shocked. And this man tells me the exact same dream. He's like, I had a weird dream about you. And he got it down to the detail, and I was like, what is happening? So all I know is it hasn't happened yet. I don't have my mansion yet. But
Yeah.
I know I'm on the right track. Dreams are, I swear, there's sometimes I feel like future visions. I know I'm getting a little woo-woo, but really like I know that our dreams, our visions can become reality. And I'm a huge, huge believer in that.
They can if you put the energy into it.
Honestly, exactly.
And not
Back to what
only
you had
that-
said, Mia, like if we put the energy into it, we put the energy into the bullshit all day anyway, and that still happens.
Yep.
So like, why are we doing that? Like the
Yes.
alternative of us believing
Yes.
in the impossible is believing in shit. Like I'm a believer in the impossible every day, all day.
Wow, I'm so inspired to hear this conversation because it's, you know, it's not a conversation we have frequently and not enough of. So
Yeah,
I love that
same.
you are out there giving that message and reminding us that we are limitless.
Yes, especially as women. There's a book called Evolution of Goddess. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. Y'all should read it. It's kind of drawn out. It's got a lot of but I really, really like the part of how basically women are very powerful. We are goddesses. We do have unlimited abilities to do anything. Okay, like anything. Because I mean, I hate to say this, and I know there's a lot of I got a lot of flack for it the last time I said it, whatever. If women all decided we were not going to have babies anymore, the human race would just stop, cease to exist. And no one thinks about that. Like, do you understand that if we don't like you, we could just be done with all of this? Like, all of it. I'm in control, sweetheart, not you, which is why I'm really hard to date. But but in reality, that's the truth. There's another article I read too. I posted on my page. No one liked it, but men get away with a lot of crap because we let them. We let them.
Well, I've said 1,000 times, if women would just unify and rise up, if we would just band together, we could take over the world. We don't need
Absolutely.
men. I mean,
Absolutely.
maybe if we want babies.
Maybe.
No, we can
There's a
milk.
lot of babies out there we could adopt. The world would just be so much better if women were in charge. We need to just take over, because I'm tired of men and they're pissing contests. Look how big my dick is. Can you shut up, please? Because you have no idea what's happening and your ego is so big. I can smell it from here. Just sit down. Okay. And I will do everything while I'm sipping on a mimosa, because I can do way less, so much more by doing way less.
Yeah,
I swear.
absolutely.
I swear.
And I don't know about you, Wesley, but I'm sure that the other two ladies here agree, but I'm so sick and tired of this band of women getting together and ripping down another woman. We need to stop that. We need
honestly,
to stop
same.
that and
Honestly,
band together.
Same. Yeah, no, I can't stand that. And I also can't stand, I do believe men have their place. I don't want to just completely shit on all men, but I appreciate men for what I believe they should be doing, which is teaching men how to be men, teaching little boys how to treat women, how to treat their sisters and their spouses and their mothers, because all of that, by the way, is completely different. Most of the time we treat men how to respect their moms, but not how to treat their wives, not how to protect other women. And there was a lot of that, I feel we're missing. But I can't stand when a lot of women get together and just tear down either a group of men or women. It's just, we have so much more we could be doing than just gossiping.
Yeah,
we have so much more to offer.
Hereditary misogyny is what
God,
we're dealing with.
Yes, no, exactly. That's a really good way to put it. I can't
We've got to break the
stand.
cycle.
What?
We've got to break that cycle.
We do. No, we absolutely do. So that's why I'm never really going to shut up. People are going to get tired of me in 30 years. They're just be like, can you just stop?
Don't shut up. That's the one thing that we must not do. We must continue to use our voice, and especially now. But you know what? It's okay. You're not, so what? So some people are not going to like what we say, right? But that doesn't mean we stop using our voice. That's
exactly
part of it, right?
Exactly. That is the whole overcoming the fear and the doubt and the lack. Okay, and you're just not my people. Bye. Right. Who is? Right. I'll be here for them. So.
Stay tuned for our next Diva Talk, where we interview another fabulous guest.